I will cover one of my open source extension named AnimDessin. So as a disclaimer, I always doing this video regarding the usage of my extension in one shot. So sorry for the misspelling, some or whatever. I don't have time to do a proper edit, so I prefer to leave you this video and to give you an overview than not giving you. And so here it is. So first I will cover what's the purpose of AnimDessin. Secondly, I will show you how to install it, and at the end I will give you an overview of the different buttons and what these buttons are designed for. So let's start by the purpose. The purpose is what we name cell animation like. Animation is not for GIF or GIF, depending how you pronounce it. It's really for Disney-like animation. So let me just giving you some link you can look at. For example, Glenkin at CTN 2012, where he explain, for example, how he is doing his key poses and keeping in the flow to animate. So you need to draw every drawing. That's how it works. And also after that, you have also the way. Let me just showing you that. If you're looking at the Walt Disney multiplan camera video, you will see the process. You need to take pictures of the drawing. Sometimes you take one picture per drawing and sometimes several. So we have to expose the drawing. So here are some references you can take a look if you don't know the traditional animation. So it's really more to transpose traditional animation in Photoshop. And by the way, I designed this extension for and with Tigobo Animation Studio. That's an independent studio based in France for my friend Renaud Armanet, and so you can take a look at what they're doing. And the question of Renaud, and that was the original purpose, was to push his visual development to express to his animator, even if that will be 2D or 3D, how he see his character moving. So all the basic of his behaviors. And but now a lot of users also designed short movie with it. So I'm really glad about it. If you want more information after this video, go on my website. You'll find the link on the description, and go in the links section, and here you will find all the links about my different things, but also about my add-ons extension for comic book colorization, coloring comic books, and also for the animation, some tutorial by School of Motion and some user guide, and here the link to download the installer. So just want to show you this nice animation by Sylvain Duboissy during Meet the Artist, an event organized by Tigobo Animation. And he did that on stage with me. That was a chance of first real meeting in real life. And I was lucky enough to see him design first his rough sketch. That's what you saw with Glenkin, the same transposition. So you can see designing the drawing with an onion skin, and you can see the drawing and keep the flow moving. And after that, just to give you an overview before doing some potatoes animation, because I'm not an animator. And after that, you can create another line of animation, so it's a video group on top to do the first sketch on top of the rough. And after that, you need to do again for the clean of the drawing and draw some in-between image to add more smoothness to the final animation. So that was just to give you the context of this extension. So now how to install it. So you're going on my GitHub, so you have a link, first link here to go to my GitHub, but again you have also the link in the description and in the section Photoshop animation. So a lot of text to describe if you're missing some pieces in this video, but actually it's pretty simple. It's 4 steps. 5 if you want to have keyboard shortcuts. I will show you that in a minute. So first thing first, you need on this grid button to click on this grid button and download the zip of everything you can find here. Okay, so download the zip. Avoid to right click. I saw some issue on some browser, so our users reported me, because ZXP is sort of zip, and sometimes it's misunderstood by the browser, and you can unzip it and you have some corruption. So if you're going by, sorry, I thought. So if you're going here, you will download a full zip of the entire thing, and you will don't touch the ZXP inside. I already done it on Mac and Windows. That will be the same. So I just did an unzip of this thing. You will, to install the extension, you need to download a free utilities, a free software named Extension Manager by AnimDessin2. So I'm opening that. You're going here, and you just choose the platform, Windows or Mac, and you just download this small software, this small utility. When it's done, you're just going on the extension manager. You can see it will manage your extension. You can remove extension, install. So you just click on install. You're just browsing on your Explorer or Finder and find the extension. Say open. You will have a progress bar, and at the end it will say, okay, it's done. That's it. That's it to install the ZXP. After that, you need to restart Photoshop. I won't do that because it's already installed. And you will find the extension in the window menu, extensions, and you will find AnimDessin or over of my extension you install. Okay. After that, you can place this extension where you want. Personally, I prefer to have it just on top of the timeline and to dog that with it, but it's up to you for that. If you want, so first of all, I think at the beginning you will prefer perhaps to use the button, but when you are in animation and you want to speed up, generally probably you will like to add some keyboard shortcut. To do that, you have an extra step for the installation during the installation process. You need, for AnimDessin, for example, you need to copy the AnimDessin script folder. For AnimColor, you need to enter, you have more preset to install, so the folder is inside. And so you need to copy it inside the application folder or program folder on Windows. You will find, so Adobe Photoshop, the version of your Photoshop. And by the way, the extension is available from CC 2014 to the actual version. And go in the preset folder. And in the preset folder, you will find a script folder. So I already did it. So you're just copying the folder here. It's already the case. Same for color. And if you're installing, for example, AnimColor at the same time, AnimColor has different presets. So you need also to install the TLP tools preset package. So in this case, in place of copying on the script folder, you're going on the tools folder and you're just copying also the TLP inside. And that's it. You restart Photoshop, and after that you will find any scripts in the file scripts subfolder. You can see I have a lot of scripts from other developer and from myself. AnimC2 is for AnimColor, AnimD is for AnimDessin, and you will find any button here except, for example, save. Save is already by default a shortcut you can assign, but you will find any of my custom buttons there. Duplicate the frame, this one, create one frame, this one, create two frames, etc. You will find everything here. And in this case, like I did for this one, for example, you can go now in the edit menu, keyboard shortcuts. And here in the file, like you can find, you will find the scripts. So just browsing down, and AnimD, and for example, for duplicate, you can just assign a shortcut, accept, save, and that's it. You will have your own shortcut for every of these buttons if you want. So that's it for the installation part. Let's talk about a little bit about the process, how it works, and the settings you can also have for having, for example, better performances, etc. So first of all, the first button is just to open the timeline. Makes sense to have the timeline open to animate. And as a disclaimer, I'm not a developer at all. So I'm using tricks to design this panel. So something I can't check if the timeline is open. So some button won't work. Sorry, if the timeline is not open. So that's also the reason why it's at the first place. Then you will just click on this button to create a new scene. So a new animation clip. Normally, you will not do the entire animation in one file. You will do each scene inside it, each plan, and after that, you will composite everything. For example, in After Effects, in Premiere Pro, or whatever. So normally, you have to have not a huge Photoshop file with everything in it. You need to have a section of this. So here, when you're clicking there, that's create for you just Photoshop or PSD, and you can define the frame rate. Generally in animation, it's 24 or 12. I prefer to use 24. 12, you're drawing 12 drawing. You're drawing 12 drawing. Yes, 12 frame. Here you're drawing the double, but you can also work at 24 and use this button to just draw one drawing every 2 frames. Does that make sense? So up to you, up to your preferences. So here you are. Generally, I'm just moving here the thing. You probably see a thumbnail, but I did here in the panel options. So the flyout menu of the timeline, so this burger menu on the top right corner, you have panel options, and I say known for the preview. Okay. And you can define if you want here the time code or if you want the frame number. So up to you. And here I have a frame number now available, and I have just this small thumbnail, so that reduces the size and the height of my timeline. So now we have the thing. Sorry, with the work from home, you see I don't have my tablet, my Cintiq with me, so I will do the drawing and my potatoes with my trackpad. And by the way, I'm not an animator, so just designing for animators, this plugin. And here I will do a potato. And so you can see that created also a video group with a regular layer inside. But before doing your first drawing, I will undo that. The second file is just because by default I will create, when you click there, I create for you the setup of the file, but also in one ratio. So it's 1080p. So clicking on the second button here will allow you to extend the canvas, for example, if you want to have, or you can use also sorry, wrong shortcut, the image size, and you can, for example, double if you want 4K, for example, or 8K. You can multiply by 4, etc. So you can design at your own size. And before animating, because again, Photoshop is a pixel-based software, so by default, if the resolution is too small, when you want to upscale, that will be complicated. So up to you to choose, but before animating, to avoid the sampling method and the issues. So here I have my weird potatoes, and now I can click on this button or assign a shortcut on it, and I will have the ability to draw my second frame. In Photoshop, when you have 2 frames, you can activate a feature named the onion skin. So meaning you will have a ghosting view of the previous frame, and you can define the options. So these 2 buttons are just a shortcut for the features that inside of this menu. You can see onion skin, settings, and enable onion skin. So just a simple shortcut there. And the way I like to have 2 frames before, 1 frame after, visible as a ghosting, and to reduce the ghosting effect. For example, 30, and you can change if you prefer the blending mode here of this preview. So that's allowing you to do that, and you can create, for example, a second frame, etc., etc. So here I'm more in straight ahead animation, so moving, creating for organic thing, you can creating frame after frame and just working like that. For more professional, you will have more to work with key poses and creating after some in between. But up to you, or again, that depends on how you want and you prefer to animate. As I mentioned, one frame is exposed. If you want to draw, for example, because I'm at 24, if you want to draw just one frame for 2 exposition, just click on this button, and in this case, you can see the visibility is 2 frames for 1 layer. So in this case, I will just work at 2, and that's how it works. Now, how I can play, I can scrub in my video. So to scrub on your video, you have buttons, but it will be more convenient to use a keyboard shortcut. And you can, by enabling, by clicking one time, you don't need to click every time on these buttons, that will activate one feature I already activated, which is enable timeline shortcuts. And with that, when you're using your left or right arrow key on your keyboard, it will not move the layer with the move tool. It will just, sorry, I was on the focus of the menu. It will move and flip the animation. Okay. So that's really convenient. So like here, you can just flip the animation like that, and the spacebar will not be the hand to move in your canvas. That will be play, pause, like in any video audio software. So that's the fundamentals. Regarding performances, you have some options, and you can see also one thing. When I'm using play, it loops. That's because also I enable the loop playback. You can also enable this feature using this gear icon, and that's where the performance also feature can help. Resolution. So the resolution is in place of calculating the full resolution of this picture at 100%, like when I'm in pause. In pause, Photoshop is rendering at 100%, but when I'm playing, I can say, okay, just calculate 50% of this quality of this size, or that would be 25. So that can help if you don't have a big computer and the file size start to move. So in this case, you can down at 25. You will see better the animation, even if it's not at 100% accurate regarding the quality of the line. You can also, like I did here, allow frame skipping, meaning if Photoshop have a hard time to render every frame to keep the smoothness of the playback, it will skip some frame to keep on track on the right timing, to allow you to see the right timing of your animation. So I already enabled it here. So let's continue the overview of this panel. So we already saw the thing. So of course, save is save, and let's create, for example, a new one. And here we are. You also have the ability, for example, to duplicate. So this third button there is just duplicate. So that means, for example, perhaps you just need to move a little bit or transform a little bit this drawing, perhaps to warp, to modify one thing, perhaps to erase, redo a section, for example. So here, you have a way to duplicate quickly this frame. You also have the ability to colorize important poses, key poses. So here, for example, I just did 2 colors. You can see you have an indicator on the layer and an overlay here. And you can, of course, erase that and apply, for example, another color. Let's talk now when you did your final clean and you want to create in between. You're not animating straightforward, but you're animating with key poses and in between. In this case, you have a button here, which is exactly the same code, to be honest, as this one, but here it's more of the in-between section, so it makes sense to duplicate. It's just creating a new frame like this one, and it will pose this new frame just after the selected one. And let's put some color on it. Let's do some in-between stuff, a weird one. And if you miss the placement, for example, sometimes you have this layer selected, and when you're clicking on it, it's now not at the right position, it's another position. So in this case, you have the ability, by selecting first this one, to move this layer on the left or on the right. Of course, you can also move it that way, but sometimes, especially with shortcut, it's easier to just move that way with a shortcut. So that's it for this this button. One thing, it can be tricky if you don't know the tricks. When you are here, for example, I want to modify to modify this layer here, this one, the one below. But you can see the layer selected is this one. So if you're trying to paint, you can't, simply because the layer is not selected. So here a workaround to avoid that. You can, so if you're going to your move tool, you can have auto select selected. I don't like auto select personally in regular Photoshop stuff, but for animation you can select donc auto select layer. So meaning when you are here and when you're pressing, so you're with your drawing tool and you're pressing Command or Control on Windows, it will move to temporarily to the move tool. And with that, you can click on it and it will select for you the layer you want. So again, if I'm here, I'm selecting this one, sorry, and my timeline is, let's say, here. So Command, Control on Windows, and click on the pixel of the drawing you're willing, this one. Click on the pixel, and it will auto-select the layer for you. And when I'm releasing the Command or Control key, it will come back to the drawing, so I can, let's say, continue to do my drawing or my modification. And again, I'm moving here. I would like to go. So in this case, if I want to go here, I can also move on this section like that, and I can continue to draw. So that's a workaround regarding the fact it's a different layer, and if the timeline is at this place, but you can't select the layer, auto select the layer with the playhead. So you have a workaround. Now let's talk about the other button there. Just a quick overview. Especially if you have the scene is really long, sometimes you just want to loop not on the entire. This one is short, so it's not an issue. You want to loop from this place to this place, or to render and extract from this place to this place. In this case, you can move this handle, or you can just click here. And let's say I would like to isolate only this part, and now it will play only in this trim area of the timeline. And if you export, you can export from the trim position or etc. So let's do that. And here you have also the ability to put some comment on your timeline. So let's say you design the first thing and you want your 2D animator to do the rest, for example. You need first to go on the flyout menu on the show section, and you can have to show the comment track, this one. Okay. As a reminder, also, if you have a long list, you can select an animation line and you can set that as a favorite. And when you show only the favorite clip, it will hide the other line of animation thanks to this feature. So that's another hidden feature inside Photoshop. So let's say I would like to put a command for a collaborator. So now I have the comments open. You can just click here and add a comment. Let's say redraw this one, and or add an in between or whatever. And so you after that you have a comment, and you can just be a bit on over, or just edit the comment to see what it is, etc. And by the way, you can export that as an HTML resume or text resume. So that's it for this overview. You can add some video track, but it's not part specifically of AnimDessin, but you can add some video part, and you can add video reference below. And that's it. After that, what you can do with this project when it's done, you can click on this small arrow on the bottom left, or you can go on the file menu. You can go on the export, and you have export render video. Sorry. So in this case, you can render a quick video test, for example, to put on YouTube to send to someone or whatever. So H264, for example, could be a nice one, or image sequence, because you want an image sequence, a targa, or ping, or whatever. But you can also import this PSD in After Effects as a composition, and you have every layers available inside After Effects. Just a warning regarding that: if you are importing the PSD directly in After Effects for the compositing, if you're placing a real video reference below, meaning you're going to layer, video layer, and import a video layer, that will not work inside, that will not be supported inside After Effects, and you will have an issue. So only the empty video layer, blank video layer you're creating in Photoshop, and the regular video layer animated will be supported when you import the PSD. So if you're doing rotoscoping and mix with video and drawing, in this case, just render your video and import the render inside After Effects. So that's it for me. I hope that was helpful, and please, again, it's an open source project, so I'm doing that in my side project, so in my personal time. So the only payment or reward, let's say reward, is for me to see the result the artists are doing with my plugin. That's the reason why I'm doing that, my passion for animation. So thanks again.